Tappa Film Production House in the house. In the house with the Tappa Film Production House. What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Throw him in there. We're almost ready. We're almost ready. We're getting in there. We're getting in there. Yo, 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 yo. Alright, 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 alright. I think we're going to do this. I think we're going to do this. Hey, what's going on? What is going on? Happy, happy, happy hump day. What's going on? Tappa film, Tappa film. What's going down? Gotta make sure that I'm up on the YouTube here. Whoop, there we go. Yo, what's going on? We got that sweeping pan. Nice sweeping pan right there. Pan. Tilt. Dolly. 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 The real Aiden's in the plate. Oh no, that's the real Caden. What's up? How you doing? Hello. Hey, Hiron. Oh my gosh, the real Hiron. This guy was magnificent. You are magnificent. You had like some amazing work. Quarter 3, bro. Dolly. Nice. That's a cool one. Dolly. Roll, 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 roll to a Dutch. Roll to a Dutch. Or just straight up roll it, right? Yo, seriously, man, I love that last portfolio piece they made. It was like, you definitely need to include that in your portfolio. It should almost be like the front page of your portfolio this year, at least. Really, it's awesome. I love the color combination and the way it breaks up. Like, feels like a window by itself. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, so, pan, truck, pedestal, dolly, roll. You got the deal. Yo, been using the GoPro lately. This is actually the GoPro Hero 1, the first ever GoPro. And we've had it for years, and we used it actually for an underwater shoot. What's fascinating, there's actually an interesting story behind this GoPro right here. Some of the earlier episodes, you might have seen some previews for a film I was working on called Judith. That was like kind of like a psychological thriller about this girl who wakes up on this island and has to fend for herself and is haunted by this dark cloth man and all this stuff. Well, regardless, we had a scene where she's like kind of swimming outside. We were on Block Island and she's like swimming in the ocean and stuff. And I was swimming with her with flippers and taking footage of her. And she accidentally knocked this camera out of my hand and it floated to the bottom of the ocean. And I was like, oh boy, the camera was still rolling. So the camera was still rolling underwater, right? My first agenda was, okay, I need to get my actress back to the beach safe. Because I'm actually a really good swimmer and I've been scuba diving since I was 10 years old. That's actually how I started doing photography, was underwater photography back when I was 10, when I lived in the Caribbean. Yep, years ago. I actually spent a couple of years of my life living in the Caribbean when I was younger. Um, my father was a scuba instructor. Anyways, that's another story. But anyways, so this fell down. So I swam my actress back to shore, and I just perused the coastline. I was like, I knew where I was, and I just kept pointing. And this is surfer surf. This is like intense surfer surf. And I was like, oh boy, we just lost that camera. It's in there, it's rolling. So I swam back with everybody on the beach, and they were trying to get people to get like, actually, we didn't even have a mask or flippers. I was just free swimming. So someone went to go get some flippers and some goggles, and I was just diving down and reaching and feeling around and making sure I wasn't pricking myself on urchins and all over things that were underwater. I was opening my eyes underwater trying to find this thing, feeling around. About 20 minutes went by. I'm feeling around underwater, and this is probably about 15 feet deep. I'm feeling around, and I'm like, I felt it, and I was like, oh, and I went to the surface. After about like 20 minutes, someone just finally showed up on the beach, like, I have your flippers, and I came out of the water with the GoPro, like, I found it, and everyone on the beach cheered. Everyone was like, yeah, what's up? I found the GoPro that we accidentally lost. what was amazing is the footage that was on the camera of this thing rolling around and surfers surf, intense, like meeting fish and all kinds of weird stuff. It was totally useful footage. And I ended up using a lot of that stuff. So, anyways, that's a little tall tale from Mr. Marcoux that this GoPro almost lost itself to the ocean, but luckily I can swim very well, and if you ever need a rescue, I'm good for that. When it comes to the ocean, I'm very comfortable with it. But yeah, I think I mentioned before, my dad used to just like, we'd do night dives and we'd be teaching students how to scuba dive, and he would throw me in first. 10 years old, he'd throw me in the ocean to test it out for his students. So that's how I got that toughness. Yo, I just found out. Of course you are. Yeah, you got an A. Jane Eric has an A, guys. Yo, you filled it up. What can I say? I asked for the assignments. You gave me like 5 photographs, right? Actually, more. You gave me more stuff, and you gave me like some videos. Your work was really exceptional. We talked about it yesterday. I really like that Nintendo controller thing that you brought out that had that motion blur to it. I love that. So keep it up. There is a new assignment up there. So if you want to engage that, it's the real distant time lapse or the real distant metamorphosis. Okay. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit. I went on my little tangent with the GoPro 1, the first GoPro ever. Still runs, guys. Yo, it's a champion, this thing. Mwah. Anyways, I decided to go with the GoPro because, particularly this week, it's quite a triggering week. And, I'm always flaunting around with this Super 8, which is kind of like shaped like a gun. So, like, pointing at this at you guys isn't probably like the best thing to be doing right now. However, I like pointing it around. It's like cool. The reason they call it shooting film is because one of the first film cameras was a refashioned gun. Le Rifle by Etienne Marie. Yeah, Frenchman. I'm French too. I'm like 60% French. It's like French Canadian French, like I don't know. We're kind of artsy folk, I guess. But I don't know. No connection there anymore. We become our own people. Anyways, yeah. So getting into it, if you're on the YouTube, you could see the first virtual Tapa Film Festival is coming up June 11th, 7 o'clock virtual doors, 7:30 showtime on the Tapa Stars YouTube channel. So make sure that you subscribe to the Tapa Stars YouTube channel. Make sure you chat too, because it is a credit to make sure that everyone's there. And the only way we can tell that you're there is if you enter the chat. In fact, that's the way I work my attendance for the past 2 months, right? Is I check and make sure that you're in the chat. If you're in the chat, it's like attendance for me, right? Or if you like something or comment, that's a lot. That's something I could see. But if you just watch the YouTube channel and don't do anything, I can't tell that you watched. So make sure that you join, subscribe the YouTube Tapa Stars channel. Hey, subscribe over here too. Subscribe to Nick Marcoux, the real Marcoux stuff if you want to keep up to date and stuff like that. And I'm dying to have someone chat with me on the YouTube. So I'm going to throw a little chat in there and see if anybody bites. Let's see. We'll see. Chat. Anyways, yeah, these guys are superheroes. You got, oh, what a team, right? And I felt like I didn't have to do much to this photo. I added a little film strip and did some font stuff. Put in, of course, our Tapa logo. If you're looking for a place to donate, go to tapaprovidence.org for anyone outside our organization. That goes a long way in providing equipment for students, and we're going to have a long slog this year, so it's important that we get a lot of fundraising going on with the situation that is the Rhode Island's budget. So, anyways, but yeah, look forward to the first ever virtual Tapa Film Festival. I'm going to be launching all this promotional material today. Yesterday, as you know, right, was Blackout Tuesday, right? Blackout Tuesday. And I'm really excited. I loved looking through Instagram and just seeing the whole thing black. I felt like that was a really powerful message sent. And also, what's nice about it is it was controlling the algorithm, right? Make sure that, a lot of people were being a little ridiculous and putting the hashtag Black Lives Matter in there. That was a no-no because you're deleting good information that's under that hashtag. So if you happen to do that, I know it's a little late for me to be saying this, but just delete the post and repost it with just um, the geez, I'm already forgetting it. Blackout Tuesday hashtag, no Black Lives Matter hashtag. So that was kind of important. So if you did that, just outright delete your post, and you could probably repost in solidarity and put the correct hashtag on it. So just so you know, I know it's repetitive and it's kind of annoying. I saw it 1,000 times yesterday, but it was really cool to see just like Facebook and Instagram taken over by like black blocks, right? And no one's like posting anything that's like self-serving or anything like that. It was all either information or support and solidarity for our black communities, which need our support and need us all to listen, right? So, anyways, I love how everyone forgot about COVID. Yeah, um, that's interesting, right? I think the media kind of like jumped a little bit away from COVID for a bit. And that tends to have an effect on the mass populace because, a lot of people in our society depend on the media, which is unfortunate for their information. So I think a lot of people got out there and got comfortable. And also, human habits die hard, right? So one thing I found in this whole COVID era is I'm always reminding myself, oh my God, where's my mask? Or, oh my God, I need to put up my mask, or like, oh my God, I should not touch my face like I'm doing right now, or like, oh, I shouldn't touch that, or so there's all these like natural things that I'm used to that they die hard, these habits. And I've messed up a million times touching my face and you know adjusting my mask when I'm not supposed to and stuff like that. So yeah, I think human habits die hard, and hopefully we'll adapt with some of these habits so we can like prevent this stuff from happening in the future. But yeah, I didn't forget about COVID. I hope you don't either. Especially, Friday. I heard there's a big protest going on downtown Providence. So if you find yourself standing up for your rights down there, just make sure that you don't forget the COVID, that you wear a mask, and that you try to keep that 6 feet separation. Not to mention a few other things. You got to be careful out there. I mean, I'm not like saying go 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 disobey your parents. I'm not saying that, right? Listen to your parents first. But if you find yourself in those situations, you got to be wary about what the protest landscape is like. Um, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, violence wise, um, you know, sneaky wise. I've been to a lot of protests in my life, a lot of them. DC, New York City, you name it. When we went to war with Iraq, I was protesting right away. I thought that was like a terrible decision. Um, and yeah, the police were very difficult, right? They would watch, they'd take pictures of us, they would sometimes arrest people, arrest us, pepper spray us, right? That stuff would happen. And so it's important to be very mindful of that stuff that could happen. In fact, it's very good to be prepared, right? A lot of I've been watching a lot of IG lives, and shout out to one guy out there, Future Crystal's, doing some massive work out in Seattle, just covering things objectively. Like being out there and like capturing what's going on and seeing it for what it's worth. What we've seen is the proof is in the pudding, right? Um, there's a lot of news out there about things that are happening, and a lot of people like kind of gaslight the violence and stuff like that. But what we're starting to find out is that actually a lot of this side skirmish violence that's a little atrocious, it's actually being caused by people that aren't involved with the direct movement, right? In fact, one thing that happened, I'm sure all you guys know, is that Tappa incurred a little damage on the front. Someone had smashed a window. However, I want to make it perfectly clear from looking at the security cameras, it turns out that those were actually um, some white people with a baseball bat. And it took them a long time, too, to break through that glass and I don't know, I think they might have taken a guitar or something like that. But if you follow Avi David, check out his post because he does a great job of explaining it, and that it's not about gaslighting the violence that's out there, but it's, it's about like figuring out what's actually going on and making sure that information gets out there. So that way the media doesn't skew it. And the media says, "Oh, look at all these violent protesters." Well, that's not the case, right? It happens to be that there's a protest scenario, and people take advantage of that to like cause chaos sometimes. And so we see that happen a lot. And by watching other live feeds and stuff like that, I've seen it happen a lot all over the place. Things from um, you got to be careful of counter protesters that come into protest scenarios and will try to mess with you and will try to get you to embrace your human habits and like fight or flight scenario, right? My big suggestion is keep your hands to yourself in all costs, because sometimes they put in um, they put in cross protesters or counter protesters. Sometimes they're put in there just to get a reaction. And the second someone sees you interact with that counter protester, or what could be called assault by getting your hands on somebody or something like that, well, that's a reason for a police officer to get involved and possibly arrest you. The fact that you've touched somebody all of a sudden. So sometimes the best bet is to use your words, right, and don't get into physical altercations, because that's going to be a red flag for someone to come in and yoink you, and unfortunately have to spend the night in jail possibly, right? So be careful, because counter protesters are out there just to incite that violence and to get people locked up. So be very mindful of that. They're going to push you sometimes, right? You see some very crazy scenarios. Not to mention a lot of, with this, the violence and the looting that's put forward in the media and stuff like that. Research that stuff. Look at the people that are actually doing it, and don't come to conclusions right away. Do a little research. Goes a long way, I'm telling you. Actually, watching those live feeds from Seattle, I was noticing, he was doing a great job in capturing some of the stuff that was going on in the storefronts and stuff. And guess what? A lot of white skin involved in that stuff. And just plain as day, just looking at the footage, it's like, but that's delineating, it's devaluing the cause altogether. It's bringing down the cause. Um, Seeing someone spray paint like BLM on the side of a business or something like that that happens to be white. Well, you're crazy. You've just totally delineated that movement, and it's not really your right to be tagging that anyways, right? Like, who are you to be representing that? You don't represent that. So, yeah, make sure you do your research out there, guys. Do your research, and check out the last couple episodes, 29 and episode 30. 29's in my bio right now. And I give kind of just a little bit of a breakdown. And I'm not right all the time. I'm always looking to grow and learn. So feel free to engage me in a conversation about this stuff, and maybe I can get better as well at listening and everything else. I try to listen the most I can and stuff, but I'm that's not the end. I'm a learning, breathing being. Let's look at some of these comments. I feel like 2020 is like a movie. Ms. Marcoux, we should make a documentary as a class on what happened in 2020 for next year. I think that's a great idea. It'd be really interesting to like kind of interview everybody and ask everyone about what their experience was like. What the afterwards, when we could actually sit down and actually do an interview. Although, if you feel like recording what you feel like right now, feel free to send me a video chat or a video recording of yourself talking about this too. It might be interesting to hear about like where you are now and how you think about it, and where you are a year from now and what you think about it. That would make an interesting documentary to see, like um, the kind of experience and then the reflection. That makes an interesting documentary piece. So generic, maybe you need to start that piece. Maybe you should start interviewing people in video chats. That might be a cool way to get started. Or we can always wait till next year too. That's fine with me. So yeah, just getting into it a little bit. Hey, if you're out there, also, I just went into the protest zone for a little bit. If you are out there, remember, if you're going IG live or anything like that, that's a great way of practicing your skills as a documentarian, being objective and just like capturing what's going on. And just one thing to be careful of is always be careful of a um, filming faces. It can be, I mean, an issue sometimes. We are in a public space, and it is your right to film what's going on, but just be wary about the people around you, and know that all eyes are on your feed, not just your friends, but the counter is watching your feed too. Seriously. And so just be wary. Sometimes you, like, if I'm out there with my friends and I know there might be people looking at my feed that I don't know, I might do them some justice and not show their faces, right? Because there could be incriminating situations going on later on down the line, right? However, that's in your decision, right? And then another thing is also, if you are going live, is to make sure you coordinate with someone who is at home with a desktop, because they can do a screen record using QuickTime or something, and record your feed. That's very important, because it's important always in filmmaking to have redundancy, to make sure that you have footage in multiple places that you could source later. And if you lose your phone, if something happens, um, very well your footage could be deleted, and it might have very sensitive material that could be used either in a film or, geez, even a court case, right? So it's important to be out there coordinating with people who can screen record. That's a really great way to work. Hey, I'm on this for a while, so I'm gonna go back. Boom. Yeah, tap of film. But yeah, having someone sourcing or screen recording at home is a great thing. And in fact, if you're not even coordinating and you're just watching the feeds and you have the ability to screen record, sometimes that's a good thing to do. In fact, a lot of times people in the field will appreciate that you are screen recording, because maybe something happens, right? But yeah, this is important. We are documentarians. It's part of our um, responsibility to be capturing the things that are happening around us. My audio's a little low today. I'm sorry about that. Sorry if my audio is a little low today. Um, but yeah, first virtual Tampa Film Festival. It's coming down the pipeline, guys. It's going to be next Thursday. Make sure you all tune in. I'm going to show you guys a few of the other posters. Here's Raymond Bakari, The Making of a Journalist. Fantastic film. I had a chance to watch it again a couple nights ago, and I gave him a very thorough response. But I love what he's done with this piece. I like how you blurred out the Canon logos. That's key, because you're not cross-promoting them. Also, you never know if they would sue you. They might be like, hey, that's my image. It's true. Um, General rule of thumb with that is, if you have logos that happen to be in your piece or something like that, as long as you're not like making it a point to like gaslight that logo or that brand or talk about that, um, then it's copyright free. But the second you start engaging the fact that, like, oh my god, I love Oscar. Oscar's my favorite. Oscar brand, Oscars, right? The second I do that, then it's like a commercial. I'm making a point to like use your brand. You may own this copyright. I don't. I don't care though, because this is for educational purposes only. For anybody out there who wants to sue me, that's cool. Let's bring it. Yeah, you got to test things out though, because copyright law is one of our big freedom of speech things that we need to push continuously, because the more copyright law becomes stringent upon our rights, the more we lose our freedom of speech. And we must keep our freedom of speech and our courage of conviction and get out there and speak our voice, right? Yeah, agreed, I think. All right, get back into it. Yo, I have an excellent poster from Pat F. Yo, Inside Out, Patrick said. Boom. I love this piece. I love it. Kid's magnificent at graphic design. I think you have a future in graphic design, dude. You really do. Or something technical, something to deal with filmmaking. I think you'd be a fantastic filmmaker. You are a fantastic filmmaker, but also you have such a creative mind and such a critical mind when it comes to like analyzing stuff visually. And then you can just tell that you have an excellent sense of a color palette right here. This has an incredible color palette with the difference of skin tones and the colorimetry, the brown title, and then the black and white pinstripe shirt. or a striped shirt is a really nice dichotomy. I like that. So yeah, going into that, and then we have Jonathan F. Jonathan F. has his poster up there. So seniors, get your posters in. I want to start putting them in circulation today. Right? Yesterday was Blackout Tuesday, so I wasn't about to interrupt the blackout. But you know, we're going to get our voice out there right now, and we're going to make sure that we start launching it. But we are not going to forget about the movement that's occurring right now. No, because we require action. We're not going to stop until that action is seen through, right? And think of little actions that you can bring to the table. Um, Many times, part of my actions throughout my life has been to provide opportunity. And that's a small thing that I can do, is by like trying to find work and try to get inclusion into the film industry, because the film industry is an incredibly whitewashed system. And I think that there's a lot of valuable people out there that just need education, that just need like the tools and the education and how to do particular things. And let's change the industry, right? Let's be more inclusive. Let's bring in more voice, right? So I'm always looking to try to find opportunity and whatever I can do to support the Black communities, people of color, indigenous populations. Seriously, been doing that my whole life, and I'm not gonna stop. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back or anything, but I'm just trying to give you guys suggestions. Anybody out there about like little things that you can do. Providing opportunity is a huge thing. Hiring people is a huge thing, right? But also interrupting corrupt situation is very essential. Interrupting corrupt situations, using your voice, even if it's a risk sometimes, is important to stand between the aggressor and the victim. Yeah, it's a long week. It's a lot to process. It's ongoing, right? But don't lose hope. Don't lose faith. Don't lose the conversation. Take risks, and also take things with a grain of salt. There's a lot of big personalities out there, and so it's important when you do get into a big clash or something like that, is just kind of like step back and reflect. Right? Anger isn't forever, and healing is important too. I don't get everything right. Yell at me if you feel like it. That's fine, right? But I'm gonna always try to improve. So just the cutoff, the cutoff doesn't do anything. We want unity, unity. Okay. Anyways, moving forward. Got a message from to the brilliant, fierce, beautiful Tappa Stars. This is from our president of the board, talking about the destruction of the Tappa window and stuff like that. And again, I want to reiterate. So she does a wonderful message that's posted on our Tappa Stars IG page and stuff like that. But I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll let you guys read it yourselves. But Dana Borelli, Murray, board chair. And again, that damage was not done by the BLM movement, which I already knew that, but they made that announcement. That wasn't us, and of course it wasn't. And but there was a lot of question about like how did this happen from the security tapes? Clearly, some drunk white people is what I've been told, with a baseball bat. So, about to swear. Those jerks. Stupid. Morons, really. But that doesn't stop us out there who are doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. And this, can't tell people how to use their emotions either, right? I have a lot of reflection, I'm sure. That's going to be going on, ongoing. But yeah, we're 30 minutes in, folks. If you guys have any questions about the assignments, I know I didn't really go into it as much as I probably wanted to. The real distant time lapse or the real distant metamorphosis, right? Are you in a cocoon? Are you coming out of this COVID with a whole nother embodiment of yourself? Are you mentally re-embodied? Are you, does your art come from the caterpillar to the butterfly? A time lapse, fix your exposure, set your camera up, and capture something that happens throughout time. Actually, I had a really nice one from Alec. I wonder if I could show that one. Yes, I can. It's right up here. So let's check out. Alec is like on fire, dude. Alec comes out and he's like, I got your time lapse ready to go. So check it out. Here we go. Oops. Oh, I have this weird thing that happens on my desktop sometimes. Sorry about that. There it is. So it's sped up eating strawberries. I'm not going to play the music just so I don't get a copyright flag today. I'm trying to avoid that today, maybe. Yeah, seniors, be careful of that. Those strawberries look good. I've been buying a lot of strawberries. I don't know if it's in season or something, but my girls are through strawberries like what? Oh, what a great time lapse. It's cool because my favorite part is actually when you go to. Although you should have recycled that pip. Sorry. Well, it was stained with strawberry juice, but yeah, you can compost things like that, bro. Sorry. It's just like a natural reaction. I've been big on, I'm big on like eco things, right? Eco everything. Ecofeminism is a big thing. Yep. Look into different kinds of feminism. There are many different sects. Ecofeminism is one of the most amazing ones, in my opinion. But yeah, be careful just not to just like paint things as like, oh, this is feminist. Oh, this is this. This is that. There's a lot of different sects. There's a lot of different details that have happened through history. Just be careful. Or using terms, right? Use them correctly. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So wonderful piece. I like the progression. I'm a little confused about like returning to the cabinet over here. What happens? Let's see. He returns to the cabinet. I'm watching a side thing over here. Let's see. And right here. Oh, he puts his plate away? Why did? What was that all about? Did you wash the dish? Oh, it's on a plate. It's a plate on a plate. Plate on a plate. He eats his strawberries. Might just challenge you to do this again. I'm sure you wouldn't be opposed to eating more strawberries. Last big one. Big polyploidal strawberry. If you know what polyploidal is, extra credit. Oh, he put the basket back in. You should have still washed that basket. The end's a little weird, I gotta be honest. Like, I started liking the trash can thing, and then I was like, oh, wait, compost, bro. And then I looked at the cat, and I was like, why would you take your dirty dish and throw it back in? In fact, Mom, if you're out there, yell at your son. Wash it before rinse it at least, and then put it on the dry rack or something like that. You know what I would really like to see too is maybe like I like to slice my strawberries. Sometimes I like to take off the little stem and slice them or something. Maybe put in some yogurt or something. Maybe put some granola on it. That would be a cool little experiment to do. But yeah, and paper plates, guys, they don't need to go in the trash. You can put them in the recycling bin, or compost is a great thing to have at your home. That way you can take like the strawberry ends. You can put it in a compost, and that soil is really good for your garden after it's been through a few years of decaying. We have a compost in our backyard that we use all the time. So something to think about. I'm sorry to bring it into that eco-friendly zone. But yeah, that would be my suggestion. Hey, shoot it again. Why not? I mean, this took you a day. I challenge you to shoot it again if you're watching. But that's all right. I still like it. And great job in getting it done. I'm not going to not give you 100% because you got it done. But, I got to be honest about stuff. And that's really, hopefully, my useful role here as filmmaker in residence, right? Hey, shout out to Ayla Alquist. She's out there doing 12 o'clock video chat. So if you have a chance, if you're looking at your email, make sure you join because I know she has some awesome projects in the pipeline as well. Shout out to Mr. Ilario. He joined us yesterday. And he was talking about if anybody's interested in a sound scoring job, a sound design job, reach out to me. I've reached out to a few alumni. I haven't heard back yet. But yeah, I want to see what can go on because you can get some paid work working with our old adjunct filmmaker resident, Scott Ilario, who's doing some music to a short film, and he has a paid gig for some sound design. So if you are equipped or knowledgeable about sound design, that would be a great little gig. And he is a wealth of information. He was part of a film, Hale County, this evening, which is a fantastic documentary. Was nominated for an Oscar. Shout out to Ramel Ross, who joined us in Tap of Film a couple years ago and gave us a great presentation. Yeah, so they were nominated for an Oscar with that film. It's a very fantastic documentary, very minimalist, and experiential and cinema verite. Cinema verite is when you film things that naturally happen. It's a French term giving homage to Zinga Vertov, who was one of the first documentarians in Russian, among the first, but among the first to film real life happening, right? So that's why cinema verite is a homage to Zinga Vertov. Anyways, I digress, and I lose my train of thought all the time. But what was I talking about with all that gobbledygook? Dana Carvey, shout out. Yeah, we're already 37 minutes in, and I have not done enough. Can never do enough, guys. Probably lost my train of thought. Probably forgot what I was about to say. That's okay. Support your film majors. Support the senior film majors. My gosh! Finally got a little sleep last night, so I'm better than yesterday. Apologies for yesterday. I was very tired. Went to bed way too late, and you could tell it in my performance. It was very lackluster. But anyways, feel free to shout me out. Feel free to DM me. Feel free to yell at me. Feel free to critique me. I'm always down for that. You know, this real Marcoux thing has gone on way too long. Episode 31. Technically, episode 44, if you count season 1, quarter 3. So, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep being persistent. I'm going to make it happen for you guys. And, feel free to send me any requests or any suggestions on future tutorials or ideas, or even if you want to call in or anything like that. I'd love to break this thing. I love breaking things. It's fun. It makes me learn things. Jeez. What are you going to do, huh? Well, I don't know. Out of gas, I think. But tune in June 11th. First virtual Tapa Film Festival. Brought to you by the class of 2020 Tapa Film Majors. You guys are solid. Love you guys. Can't wait to hear from you. Can't wait to see some rough cuts. Peace. Keep it real out there, folks.